Hey, good morning everybody. So today for us is Thursday and I got up pretty late, but I wanted to share something with you very special. And that is the fact that for the past couple weeks, I haven't really been sleeping with my sleep apnea machine. Now I know I mentioned it before that I have sleep apnea, obstructive sleep apnea, but I've never been able to not sleep without the machine since I got it. I've always had to have this machine on my face. Now this is what the machine looks like. That is my machine right there. It consists of this here face piece right here, this long hose, the brain of the machine right here, and this here canister for putting water in. For the last 6 years, it's been this machine right here that's enabled me to get a good night's sleep. Now, I discovered that I got obstructive sleep apnea about 6 years ago. I got really sick, my throat got really sore, and I couldn't sleep. I kept waking up every 30 seconds when I was asleep in a lot of pain because my throat was really sore. And I was like, why am I waking up every couple seconds? Usually with a really bad throat, I would eat a fudgesicle in the middle of the night. I don't know, chocolate, but I would eat a freezing cold fudgesicle and it would cool down my throat, and then I would quickly go to sleep and I'd be able to sleep for the next couple hours. This wasn't happening. My usual way of going to sleep and dealing with the pain of the sore throat was not working. Now, about a couple days into the sore throat, Margaret just stayed awake and she watched me. She was like, what is going on with him when he tries to go to sleep? And she discovered that every 30 to 45 seconds, I was actually completely suffocating. I wasn't just snoring. My airway was cutting off completely, and then I was waking up gasping for air. And then I would, fall back asleep again. But with the sore throat, what that did was amplify it, because every time that I would stop breathing, my throat would collapse in on itself, and it was already really dry. It really hurt and it would wake me up even more. And so we figured out that I wasn't sleeping. Now, we tried to live like that and limp along for a couple weeks, and I realized that I was falling asleep at stoplights and at stop signs. And when I went on a longer trip in the van from town to town making deliveries, I was starting to fall asleep halfway between towns because there was nothing happening. It was just a straight drive. Surprise! Falling asleep behind the wheel is incredibly dangerous. And quite often when you fall asleep behind the wheel, you crash because you're maintaining the speed that you were driving when you're behind the wheel, except for now you're asleep and your foot is still on the gas, and the sky is the limit for how bad those kind of accidents can get. So Margaret and I decided that, yes, I had to go to the doctor's. And when I told the doctor about what was going on, he got me into the sleep clinic, and the sleep clinic fast-tracked me because I know I'm a delivery guy and I drive all the time, and they know that it's very important that I don't fall asleep while driving. So the whole thing got fast-tracked, and within a couple of days, I was in a sleep clinic, sitting in the waiting room, waiting for my appointment with a whole bunch of other awkward-looking people who didn't really want to be there either. I could tell people were feeling really awkward, so I did my usual thing and got everyone talking in the waiting room and making jokes and stuff like that. And one by one, people would get called out by the nurses, and then they would come back in and they'd have all these wires attached to their head looking something like this. Yeah. And they would have all these wires attached to their head like the picture shows, and they would be really kind of awkward, and I would make jokes about it, and then it was my turn and I left and I made some jokes, and I came back and I was wearing all my headgear. I took a selfie with the nurse that put all the stuff on me. I don't think I can find it. If I can find it, you'll see it in the video, but I took a selfie with that nurse with all the headgear on and stuff like that. And before you know it, there's a room full of people all sitting out in the waiting area because we can't go to sleep until the doctor says so. We're all sitting in this waiting area, chatting and talking and laughing and having a good time with wires all attached to our heads and like a box that we have to wear around our neck with all the mechanical buttons and stuff. We looked like something out of a Star Wars movie, and it was frickin' hilarious. Anyway, so the doctor would come and they would then call us one by one and take us to our room and set us up and put us to sleep, and then call it back for the next person and put them to bed in their room. Eventually it was my turn to go to bed. I stood up and said my see you laters to everyone there and went to lay down to go to sleep. This is no easy task when you have a whole bunch of wires and stuff glued to your face and your head and your chest. Anyway, wires all over my head, box on my chest. I did eventually manage to get to sleep. I had to sleep directly on my back. I couldn't lay on my side with all that stuff, but I did eventually manage to get to sleep, even though it was really, really weird to be covered in all those wires. Fast forward about a half an hour, and I've been asleep, I guess. Half an hour, 45 minutes, and then the nurses come in. Boom! Oh God, what's going on? And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, well, we have to put this mask on you because you're suffocating every 30 to 45 seconds. You see, like I said before, I was flat out suffocating every 30 to 45 seconds. If you look at your throat, well, here's a picture. Okay, so you see the top there, right? That's normal. Here's another picture. And that one is not normal. That's what it looks like when you have obstructive sleep apnea. The top of your, the top of your throat collapses on the back of your throat. Yeah, and that's what was happening to me. I was completely suffocating every 30 to 45 seconds. The ladies were like, wow, we don't usually see it quite this bad. Usually it's like every minute, every 2 minutes, you know, but it's every 30 to 45 seconds. That's pretty extreme. And I was like, I know, I've been going to sleep at stoplights. This is really terrible. So the nurses came and slapped one of these things on my face right here. And, you know, it was really weird to go to sleep having a thing on your face. It's like having a face hugger, but, you know, I did manage to go to sleep. Now, this is the mask to the CPAP machine. CPAP, also, if I didn't tell you, means constant positive airway pressure. And that's what I had. Basically, this machine right here, this generates the wind force. Over here, this warms up all the water, which then adds a little bit of moisture, and it comes down the hose, and it comes out here, and you have this constant pressure of air going down into your lungs, holding your airways open, forcing them open, kind of like a balloon. Now, imagine for a second that this balloon here is my throat. Yeah. So this is basically what it used to do. That's what a CPAP machine does right there. It inflates just enough so that the air can actually make its way all the way through. It's just enough positive airway pressure that when you breathe out, you don't have to breathe hard to counteract the air going in. But it's just enough that it holds everything open, right? And therefore, you don't have all the strain on your lungs and on your heart. Anyway, long story short, basically, I slept the rest of the night sound like a baby for the first time in like a month or whatever, because I had the sleep apnea mask on and I had the constant positive airway pressure, and I woke up and I felt better that day, the next day, than I had felt in a long, long time. I wasn't falling asleep while driving anymore. I wasn't falling asleep at stoplights anymore. I wasn't getting super tired halfway through my day anymore. I wasn't waking up with headaches anymore. I wasn't waking up gasping anymore. My whole life changed the second that I got that CPAP machine. Sure, I could never just go camping again someplace and just like pitch a tent. I had to have an electric site so I could plug my machine in. And sure, I had to make sure that I maintained it and bought parts, which were stupidly expensive. You don't want to have to buy parts for a sleep apnea machine, trust me. You don't even want to know how expensive they are. Google that stuff, look it up. It's not cheap to buy replacement parts for a sleep apnea machine. But yeah, for the past 2 weeks, I haven't been using it. I haven't been wearing the mask. And Margaret has been watching me sleep, and she says I'm breathing normal. Now, why is that? This is the point that I want to get to. Why I am now breathing normal and I am freed from my sleep apnea machine, which at one point I loved. I loved my sleep apnea machine. I swore by it. I was like, wow, I love this machine and I sleep so well with it. Why do I feel like the chains of being stuck to this machine are now loosed? Why don't I have to use my sleep apnea machine anymore? Well, the simple answer is I lost weight. I lost a lot of weight. An average of 68 pounds total. That is a lot of weight to lose. And I'm not done my journey yet. But 68 pounds total is a ton of weight to lose. And because I lost all that weight, my obstructive sleep apnea went away. Now, I'm not saying that everyone that gets chubby is gonna get sleep apnea, and I'm not saying that everyone that has sleep apnea is chubby. There's lots of people who have obstructive sleep apnea who are skinny, and there's lots of people who have it who are not skinny. They're of the larger body persuasion. I just know that for me, losing that extra weight around my neck and on my chest really helped with the obstructive sleep apnea. And I've been sleeping without my mask to test it, to see if I could. And I got up this morning and I was like, you know, I slept like an absolute baby last night. I think that as of today, I can say that I should be free and clear of sleep apnea. I think that losing weight has actually cured me of my sleep apnea, because before I lost the weight, I was still suffocating. And up to a certain point in my weight loss journey, I was still suffocating because I tried sleeping without it and I couldn't. It's since I've gotten down to the weight that I am now that we're able to look and test and quantify the fact that I'm sleeping normal and I'm not wearing my sleep apnea mask. And people say, you just gotta lose weight and then you won't have your sleep apnea no more. And that doesn't work for everybody, but for me it did. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you feel like there's things in your life that are not working out for you, that your health is being obstructed by possibly by your diet and by your weight, it's not too late to change your life. Because at 330 pounds, I was really depressed. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to lose it. And I was just sort of accepting the fact, I'm fat and that's what I'm going to be like. And I just got to live with it. And there's no problem. I guess it's no problem. I'll just have to adapt my lifestyle to being fat, which makes me fatter. Why not let today be the day that you work to change your life, that you begin doing whatever it is that you need to do to change your life and to make your life better? For me, it was losing weight. For you, it might be something else. I have no idea. I don't know you. But why not let today be the day that you start working to change your life and make your life better? Anyway, that's all I had to say for today. Sorry again that there's no kids, there's no family, nothing like that. I just wanted to share the sleep apnea thing with you. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you can leave a comment and tell me what you thought. And I'll see you tomorrow with the next one. All right, goodbye everybody.